Welcome to Conversations with the ERC5. I'm Grace Baroni, and today I am honored to have as my guests Sabra and Kevin from the Springfield Rescue Mission. With over 130 years of service to the community here in Western Mass. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. And I'm going to have you do all the hard work because I'm going to let you each introduce yourselves and share with us the work that you do here. Because I was absolutely amazed. I'm so delighted that I got to tour and that I went down there because I didn't know the full extent of everything that you do and your mission and how you're providing so much more than just a warm meal, a place to sleep. There's so much more to what you're doing, and it's so purpose-driven. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share a little bit about that with our audience.
Well, I'm Kevin Ramsdell, the Executive Director at the Springfield Rescue Mission, and thank you for having us on this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Amen. Your turn.
Oh, I'm Sabra Ramsdell, married to Kevin. I'm the Chief of Staff at the Rescue Mission.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you do there, because you combine the physical and the spiritual.
Correct.
And I loved it when I toured because you said that we all need to have a purpose because that's what helps us move forward and navigates all that we do. And that's what you're working on. So that's kind of what I was alluding to. There's it's not just the food and and that is all amazing, but the fact that you tap into that, because that's the way we're going to change things.
Exactly. So what we tend to do is we try to take care of people's physical needs first. So we have two buildings. We have one over at 148 Taylor Street, which is our short stay shelter right now. And that kind of feeds our rehabilitation program over at Mill Street, which is normally about a year, and it can go a little longer than that. But what most people see is they see the long lines waiting to get in for food, because we do a public breakfast and public lunch daily, and Monday through Friday anyway. And that's what people see, and that's what they think all we do. But there's another side of that through our rehabilitation program. So I'm going to let Sabra speak a little bit on that.
Okay.
So I think the key points that people have to learn about really is that the face of homelessness has changed through the years. The needs have changed. And so how we try to address the changing needs in the community are through the rehabilitation program and the additional services that we offer. Rescue missions around the country, of which there are over 300, represent between 65 and 75% of all services offered to the homeless population. So that means the food, the shelter, the clothing, nightly emergency shelter, on into rehabilitation programs today. Most of them have that in one form or another, and good many of them are faith-based. So we do try to incorporate all of that as a holistic model because we're not one-dimensional. We're body, mind, and spirit, right? So as Kevin said, we tackle the physical needs first because it's the same thing as you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yes.
And that's our goal.
Amen.
We want people to be able to be self-taught, self-fed when they leave. So we do that through the Learning Center, through faith-based counseling services, through workforce development. And we have a whole array of programming within our walls that serves all those needs, beginning with relapse prevention for those who are in the trenches of substance abuse. And then we move on to GED training. We have digital literacy through the Mass Alliance for Digital Literacy in the state. That's been a huge success. We're soon to be incorporating AI teaching. People can come in and get their GED, work with Mass Hire and a career coach to help them establish a pathway into a real career. They can get digital literacy They can move into AI training. They can do online courses. They can go to any of the neighboring colleges. We know the community colleges are all free now. So our encouragement for them is to examine what you loved to do in your life. Everybody had a passion somewhere in their life for doing something,
a lot of times,
right?
A lot of times what we'll do is we'll ask them, what was it you inspired to do when you were small? What hindered that? At what point in time did you walk away from that? Because we feel if we can find something that they love to do, they'll never work a day in their life, which gives them the incentive to want to better themselves. And again, we don't want them to settle on, just a $15 an hour job because you can't support yourself, even with a single apartment these days. So we're trying to educate them enough to realize what's going on and where they need to be. So we're setting those goals up when they come in. The other aspect of it, too, is the fact that they need to realize, too, that they can't continue to stay on these subsidies where the government is stepping in because they weren't meant to be a lifelong program. They were meant to be short-term solutions to a short-term problem. And what has happened is it's kind of taken over as a lifestyle now. We're on about our third or fourth generation of people that this is natural. So in order to break that cycle of poverty and to break that learning habit that they've grown up with, seeing their parents, if we can break that now and get these guys out there when they return to the family, when they leave us, now their children are seeing the change in these adults. And that's where the true change is going to happen and how we feel anyway that we can break this homeless cycle.
About a year ago, we hired a workforce development liaison. And his job is to first do all the assessments to find out those things that people really were driven by as a passion. And for example, yesterday he took them to the Basketball Hall of Fame for their job fair, and 2 of them came back with jobs. 2 of our residents came back all excited because they have finally gotten a job. So we're doing, I think we're covering with this, we call it a continuum of care, right from the day somebody comes in all the way through. And if they need extra time because they're in school, we don't have a time limit. Everything is really based on the individual need. So that program is designed and tailored just to the individual. If they need an extra 6 months or a year, we'll give them that to go to school and help them and encourage them to save money with a part-time job that then is going to help them move into the next phase.
That's what I was so impressed with. I mean, we toured the kitchen and your team was working and your volunteers. Everybody was putting together meals that were going to go out there and be delivered and all of that. But as we continued on the tour, there's the clothing and so forth. But there was the educational piece. And it's like, so you're preparing them to stand on their own, to be able to leave the shelter that you've created for them, this wonderful environment, but you're enabling them to go out there and be successful, to be able to stand on their own and do well and find that passion. Because sometimes life, can throw things at you and you get a little derailed. And you're helping them get back, find their passion and get back on the right path.
Yes.
To get to where they need to be, to have, great lives.
Absolutely. And then we have an aftercare program now, too, that even once they've gone out on their own, we like to encourage them to come back, too, and share with some of the other folks, hey, you know what, I was there once, and this is what happened to me. This is what this program did for me. And again, keep them in tune with what's going on. And they may need to come back, too, for some other things as well. So we keep the door open. We don't just say, okay, have a nice life. It's no. This is a family, and we stay behind you.
You're there for them.
Yeah, we are.
That's a beautiful thing.
We had a gentleman show up today on the doorstep who said, I'm going to graduate from the program in May, but I just wanted to come in and visit because he has found an apartment. He's out kind of on his own. But they do. They come back and they feel, I hope they feel that this is a home.
Oh,
that's the environment we want to create for them.
You've done that. Because otherwise they wouldn't come back to you.
Correct.
No.
Right? To share these successes. You've created for them something that maybe they didn't have beforehand.
We want them to thrive, not just merely survive.
Right.
Nobody wants to
I love
do that. You don't want to just go out there and survive in a $10, $15 an hour job. You want to thrive in your life.
Right.
And they've lost hope. Well, that's how you build hope.
Right.
It also is what builds self-esteem. You know, real self-esteem is built a brick at a time. It's not built through a handout. It's built through, I accomplished, I did, look at what I was able to do. And that's what we want to help people do.
Okay.
And again, if any of your listeners out there would like to come in for a tour, we offer that to everybody. Because really, come and see and figure out how you can help us to, again, the continuum of care. You know, it's a collaboration of efforts on all sides. You know, we collaborate with a number of other entities out there to be able to meet the demand that we have, you know, through food and clothing donations and financial donations to help sustain us. You know, this time of the year, everybody thinks, oh, it's cold and whatnot. But the need is just as great during the summer months when it gets really hot and whatnot with us taking
other
care of them.
elements that are and I'm glad you brought that up. So because as time is ticking away for us, I do want folks to know that they can reach out to you.
Yes.
And I encourage them to take a tour to actually experience all that you're providing there for folks. And that's a way to start. You know, sometimes, yes, financially, we all love to have, you know, that sponsor that is going to support us with our bigger picture. But we also need someone who has time and talent and can help us with volunteerism and help us to administer our programs and move our mission forward in that way. So what's the best way, if there is someone out there who wants to learn, how can I get more involved with the Springfield Rescue Mission?
I would say come in for a tour, because then you'll see all aspects of what's going on in there. And then you can figure out, well, what is my passion? Because not everybody wants to do food and not everybody wants to sort clothing. But you may find another way where you can tutor somebody.
Right.
You know, because we have tutors that come in for math and English and writing resumes. Although they go through these different programs, they still have a hard time learning how to talk positive about themselves, or they can't see it in themselves. So it takes somebody to come in and kind of extract that from them. You do have some value here. You do have some worth. And look at what you can do over here, and get them excited about creating a story about themselves to sell to a potential employer. And that's great when you see them light up and their face light up and say, you know what, I can do this. Like those two guys that came back yesterday from, you know, that interview process that they did over at the Basketball Hall of Fame. It was just exciting to see that.
We started recently, too, this is a new add-on, we started a mentoring program. So we have a group of men that are all, you know, successful in their own lives, most of them retired now, but they are acting as mentors, so kind of like a big brother program to our residents, and that is a phenomenal opportunity. That's a volunteer opportunity. Tutoring in the Learning Center on an individual basis is a volunteer opportunity. It's not just serving a meal or painting a wall. We really want to expand on those kinds of opportunities because there's a lot of wisdom out there. There's a lot of experience amongst the people in the city that have a passion for helping others.
You can share your experience, your journey, your
and
successes, and maybe where you fell short, but how you got back up.
Absolutely.
And got back on track.
Because we all have challenges in life.
They need that.
There you go.
You know, and we couldn't do half of what we do without our volunteer base, so we just love them and they love on us, and it's just great opportunity again to come out and see what's really happening there.
Okay. I wish we had more time. We need to have you come back so we
Absolutely.
can touch on what the future holds for you and what's coming. But for our viewers who want to get in touch with you, the website is the best way to go about doing that?
It'd be Springfield Rescue Mission, all one word, .org, or they can call 413-732-0808 to set up an appointment to come in.
Okay.
And
Sounds
just
wonderful.
ask for us. We're always there.
We're always there.
Sabra and Kevin.
You got it.
There you go. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
today.
for having us.
This was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. If you would like to be the next guest here at Stonegate Studios in Wilbraham, visit our website at ERC5.com and sign up for Conversations with the ERC5.